The TalkSport Fan Network.
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
The FA should sack Gareth Southgate now. That, last night, as everybody across the country will realise, was absolutely appalling. Now, before we get into this video, please hit the like, subscribe and the bell button below. It helps this channel to grow and it is for free as well. So please, please, please do help us out here. But like I say, it was a terrible, terrible performance. We have got the Margot Robbie of England teams at the moment. We have got our golden generation. And the danger now is that we are going to waste that golden generation because of one man. And that one man is Gareth Southgate. The man that has taken us so far. Now, a lot of people are going to look at this and they're going to go, well, he got you to the European final against Italy. Yes, that's all well and good. But we had a fairly decent route to that final. And then when it come to shove, we went 1-0 up. Instead of playing on the front foot in a game that really the England side should have won, we went defensive. We dropped back. We went too deep. We lost. Same happened at the Russia World Cup. Croatia, again, went 1-0 up too early. Again, sat back. And the same has happened against Denmark in this competition. Of course, we went 1-0 up. And again, Gareth Southgate settles for this. And Gareth Southgate is making a mockery of one of the best England sides that we have ever seen. We've got Jude Bellingham, Declan Rice, Bakayo Saka. We have got so much talent on that pitch and also on the bench as well. Why he's persisted with taking Luke Shaw when Luke Shaw, in all fairness, was not fit to start the competition is beyond me. Yes, he scored the goal in that final, but at the same time, that doesn't give you a free route to get into that England side. He had lots of options in the Premier League, and I've even mentioned Lloyd Kelly. Lloyd Kelly, who's now at Newcastle, would have been a perfect replacement on that left-hand side. It would have given us a little bit more balance. Why is he persisting in playing Phil Foden out of position when Phil Foden plays so well for Manchester City? Now, I think that Gareth Southgate should be sacked mid-tournament. And it's not the first time this has happened. And the most recent occasion when a manager has been sacked mid-tournament, has worked out very, very well for that side. Let's look at the African Cup of Nations and the Ivory Coast team. Now, of course, they were hosting the competition in 2023. And their manager at the time was a Jean-Louis Gasset. Now, Gasset managed to win his first game, but then lost the two subsequent matches, one against Nigeria and one against Equatorial Guinea. Now, after that, and it was a thrashing, they sacked their manager mid-tournament. And to be honest, this kind of echoes, what Southgate is kind of doing in this tournament. Again, Ivory Coast were very, very defensive. They weren't attack-minded, even though they had a very, very talented team. They brought in MS Faye on a caretaker basis. And then they went and won the bloody thing, beating Nigeria in the final, the team that they'd lost to earlier on in the competition. Why can't England do that? England have got attack-minded players. Now, everybody says that our Achilles heel is our defence. Now, at this point in time, that doesn't look like it. Because at the same time, we are playing very, very deep. And our defenders, Gay has been excellent. Stones has been brilliant. Trippier for what it's worth, has done a fairly decent job on that left back position, even though, again, it's not our preference to go with Trippier on that left hand side. We're playing a right footed player on the left. It's not working. It's not working at all. And then you've got Kyle Walker on the right hand side, who, has done fairly decent. So our defence is looking good. But you think we've got, Jude Bellingham, easily a Ballon d'Or winner, who is attack minded, has been excellent for Real Madrid. He's played one excellent game for England against Serbia, and Gareth Southgate has basically broke him. He's basically broke him in the space of that. Harry Kane, we're not playing to Harry Kane's strengths at all because we're just too deep. Harry Kane's just sat there isolated up front. It is an absolute shit show. It's an absolute shit show. Ollie Watkins, to be perfectly honest, would have been a better option. But of course, Southgate has not gone with that route. Conor Gallagher, of course, coming for Trent Alexander-Arnold, was a bit disappointing. Trent should never have been there. And it was only when Cole Palmer actually come on that, we did see, okay, there's, some other options. And I thought Cole Palmer did very, very well against Slovenia. But Southgate has got a defence-minded attitude with the best attack-minded national team that we've ever had, and probably the best attack-minded national team in the world at the moment, bar Brazil, and they can't win the fucking European competition, can they? Because they're South American. So Southgate needs to be sacked. He needs to be replaced at this moment in time. We have got an opportunity of winning Euro 2024. There is no doubt about that. The players out there, apart from Luke Shaw, who should never have gone, are all pretty much fit and ready and raring to go. So replace him midterm. Who do we replace him with? We don't have to go down the Ivory Coast route because of replacing him with a caretaker, somebody who hasn't managed much in the past before, apart from under 21s teams. We can easily contact Eddie Howe at this moment in time and say, Eddie, can you do this for us? Take on this national team. And I'm sure Eddie Howe, despite what has been said previously, and I know that he does like the 9 to 5 daily running of a football club. If he was to win a European Championship or a World Cup with England, he would be put on a pedestal, going from -17 to a World Cup winner. I tell you what, it's got a beautiful ring to it. A beautiful ring to it. But what is the FA going to do? They're probably going to go for Potter, somebody who is probably a yes man after Southgate decides to quit. Because at this moment in time, under Southgate, we are not winning this competition. We are not winning this competition. We have got not a fucking hope in hell of winning Euro 2024. Mainly because Southgate is such a defence-minded idiot who doesn't have a clue how to change and influence a game. We can all see it. The only thing that actually he's done right at this tournament is bring on Ollie Watkins for Harry Kane. Kane being completely isolated up front. We're not playing to his strengths. A Dominic Solanke, I'm not just saying that because I'm a Bournemouth fan, but somebody who could drop back, build, and get Bellingham involved. Or Jack Grealish, another player who should have gone. Get him involved. What is the point of Adam Wharton being out there? If we're not going to use him, what is the point? What's the point of Ivan Toney being out there? To be honest, he shouldn't have gone in the first place because he spent more time in the bookies than he probably did on the pitch last season. But at the same time, what I am saying here is that Gareth Southgate has dropped a howler. So why not suck him mid-tournament? This isn't the first time this would have happened as well. And it's not just the Ivory Coast who have done this. You look back at history. In fact, during the 1998 World Cup, of course, we were in Tunisia's group. And they sacked their coach after 2 games. Of course, you have You've got multiple occasions. South Korea have done it, where they've sacked a manager mid-tournament in World Cups. Personally, I think this is what it needs. Southgate is not going to be there after this tournament. He's not going to be there unless he wins this tournament, which, to be honest, we're not going to win it playing like that. If we are going to go too defensive against Slovenia or Brazil, Denmark, or not Brazil, I've got Brazil on the mind now. But if we're going to go defensive against teams like that, what is going to happen when we come up against a team like, of Brazil's quality, France, for example, Netherlands, Italy, even? It is more than likely that we are going to get the Dutch in the last 16. You know, the maths might change it, but we're more than likely to get the Dutch in the last 16. And do you know what? I'm absolutely fucking delighted about that. Because the reason being is this England side need a wake up call. They need to come up against somebody tough. Now, if Southgate has looked at this tournament and thought, let's find the easiest way through the tournament, that is ridiculous. I don't care if Germany, Spain, Italy, and France were all on one side of the tournament. I don't care. Of course, Italy's on our side of the tournament now. But what I'm just making the point. I don't care who's on the side of the tournament. If we have tougher teams, we've got to beat those teams to actually win it. There is no point in trying to navigate your way through a competition without, playing at your full pelt, at your full strength. It is an absolute farce. And Gareth Southgate needs to be sacked on the spot after that terrible showing against Slovenia, the terrible showing against Denmark, which, to be honest, Denmark should have won, and the terrible showing against Serbia, who, to be honest, should have got a point from us. Now, if those results go as I say, we would have been out of the European Championships by now. We're lucky to be in them. Yes, we've topped the group, but luckily, Denmark didn't have their shooting boots on, and Serbia had Mitrovic up front, who decided he was going to roll around when they had their decent opportunities. So come on, we're not lucky. We don't deserve to be through. To be honest, we deserve to be going on the plane home, because that's what Southgate has served up. If we were in a better group, we would be. We would be. It's an absolute embarrassment with the quality of the players. We've got a Ballon d'Or winner, a future Ballon d'Or winner on our squad. And we cannot beat Slovenia with our side. It's an absolute farce. An absolute farce. Like I say, we've got the Margot Robbie of national teams. We really have. We've got so much quality. But to be honest, what's being served up is Mavis from the pub. And I tell you what, it is absolutely atrocious. We've got lucky for now. But unless something changes, we're not going to get through the last 16 game. We won't be having, a day out, at the start of July. We won't be getting to that final. All those hopes and those dreams. And what we'll be doing is what Belgium have done, which is wasted their golden generation. To be honest, Belgium look a better side than we do, and they're not particularly very good. They're relying on Romelu Lukaku, but at least they play to his strengths. Southgate needs to be sacked mid-tournament, and somebody needs to put the call into Eddie Howe. If Eddie doesn't want to do it, find somebody else who is a lot more qualified than what Southgate is. Play on the attacking foot. Play, for God's sake, get hold of Harry. Harry's got experience in winning competitions and getting through to, the latter parts of the Champions League with a side, who, let's be fair, we're a decent side, but probably punched above their weight a little bit, Spurs, under Harry Redknapp. Get him involved. Give him a call. I'm sure he would do it, and I'm sure he would do a lot better job than Gareth Southgate is doing at the moment. It's an absolute farce. An absolute farce. Let us know what you think. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell button. Let me know if you think Southgate needs to go now.
The TalkSport Fan Network.
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.